Everyone, welcome to this data science journey webinar. I am accompanied by my colleague Himanshu, who is also an organizer, and he will be moderating the session along with me, and he is also recording the session. And we are joined in with two of the speakers, Sushil Singh and Avinash Pathak. Both of them have made transition from their jobs, earlier jobs which are non-analytical jobs, to a data science career. So I would like to introduce them before we ask both the speakers to share their journey. Let me quickly introduce Sushil Singh. Sushil Singh is currently working with Perfios Software Solutions. It's a Bangalore-based company which also has an office in Mumbai, and he works with them as a data science architect. Sushil carries overall 11 years of experience, and 6 years of his experience is in analytics. Last 6 years he has been working in analytics. What I find very interesting about his journey, he was working as a supervisor, a boiler supervisor in a company in the southernmost tip in Chennai, in Tamil Nadu. And that's when, after having worked in that organization as a boiler supervisor for 4 years, that is around 2013, he decided to move into data science. He quit the job, and with his perseverance, he moved into a data science role, a business analytics role. So that is very exciting. So Sushil, we will be expecting you to share your journey. Likewise, we have a second speaker, Avinash Pathak. He also has a very exciting journey. He is currently working as a cluster manager enterprise analytics at Clariant. He has overall 8 years of experience, and he recently moved into analytics a year back. Before getting into analytics, he worked as a software engineer, and as part of software, he gradually migrated to MIS developer, building reports. And later on, he realized that he is churning good amount of data and generating numbers, but he is not putting effort to interpret those numbers. And that's where he got a curiosity to learn data science. And by the way, Avinash is also our alumni. He did a data science course from K2 Analytics. And within his organization, many people think of switching jobs and getting into analytics. Avinash also did, but finally he decided to switch into analytics in his own organization, which is in a pharma sector. So he is doing exciting work at Clariant Pharma. So welcome, Avinash. I am the speaker, Rajesh Jakhotia. I personally have 20 years of industry experience. I started my analytics journey way back in 2003. I will not be speaking much in this session. I'll be moderating it. The reason I'm moderating and not going to talk much is I want the young people who have recently made their career switch into analytics to speak and share about their experience. So with this, I would first start off with Avinash Pathak. Avinash, I would request you to tell us about yourself, what work you do in the current organization, and how you made a transition to data science. And then the same question, Sushil will be posing it to you. So over to you, Avinash. Kindly unmute your mic and Go ahead.
First of all, thank you for inviting me, and good afternoon, all. So let's start with my journey. So in 2012, I started my career as software engineer. So after spending couple of years in 2015, uh, I decided that coding is a bit boring. Yeah, so let's have some change. Then I moved to Clariant as MIS developer. There I had entire data of 53 countries. When I say entire data, so I have access of sales, finance, inventory, logistics, every kind of data. So I was a bit confused and what to do with all this type of data. Then with one of referral friend, I joined K2 Analytics in 2019. So from day first, yeah, uh, when the statistics session came, so I changed my perspective looking at the data. So it was like previously I was just looking at the numbers, yeah, let's say India sales. So it was like 5 million of sales India is doing. So for me, it was just numbers before the learning of statistics. Now after joining couple of sessions at K2, I started looking data at different perspective. What is the margin? Why it decreased so much in particular this month? Then I came to know that there is a something called as seasonality is there in the business. So likewise, there are other concepts also came uh, in training, and I also try to apply those change concepts in my real life data. I started talking to my senior managers, regional managers, and global managers. Okay, I started to talking with all my managers that I'm doing this type of course. So can we have some opportunity so that we can do something more apart from only reporting? So the first assignment was given to me was from the APEC, Asia Pacific. We have a business called mining. So they asked me a simple question that Avinash, in Australia, we know that our sale is very dependent on the weather, weather conditions. So can you help us that which are the products who are highly influenced by the weather and which are those weather conditions? So this was the first assignment I was given after joining K2 within 15 or 17 days. So for me, it was like totally blank. I was blank. What should I do? What should I answer? I discussed this with Rajesh sir, and that I got this assignment. What to do? He mentioned that this topic is far away from where we right now are. But I didn't stop. I started to exploring things myself. So it was like advertisement I was doing for myself only, and that helped me a lot. So after that, my course was completed. I got couple of tasks to work with regional teams and global teams on analytical projects. And looking at my performance, they asked me and they offered me a on-site of Germany and Switzerland. So last year, also current year, I was there in Europe for a couple of countries for a couple of months. So this was my journey. So as a slide will move, then I will share other experiences and other things. Thank you.
Thanks, Avinash. Thanks for sharing. And the most important perspective is when Avinash was working as a MIS developer. He was just creating reports and sharing reports to his seniors. Because I worked as part of our training program, I've interacted very closely. And as Avinash mentioned, the moment he started learning statistics, that's where he started understanding that he was just creating reports, but not interpreting reports. And this is one of the key change, attitude change, which Avinash brought in. And that's how he moved his career into analytics in his own organization. So now I move on to Sushil. Sushil, I would like you to introduce yourself, and I'm more interested in knowing, Sushil, from you. You were working in a boiler industry. How did you get the inspiration to join data science and make a career in data science? And where you were in Tamil Nadu, I know you were in a very isolated place. From there, you decided to get into data science. You were already sitting with all people who are worker and laborers, and then you got the inspiration to move up the ladder. So that's what I would definitely expect the participants to know. Over to you, Sushil.
Thanks, Rajesh, for the nice introduction. And good afternoon to all my aspiring data scientist friends who are attending this session. By this time, as you already know, I am a data science professional who started my career in 2009 in the power sector after completing my BTech. And after working for more than 3 years with boiler and turbines, I made a successful transition in the world of data science. Yeah, your question, Rajesh, what made me to make this transition? So I made this transition in 2013. So I think in October or November 2012, one article came into news, like data science is the sexiest job of 21st century. So this was the trigger for me. Because my job was very monotonous, I was bored of my job. But as I am not coming from this software background, so I'm not very confident whether transition into software or not. But after going through that article, the success job of 21st century, and it starts with the LinkedIn story, like how in the initial days of LinkedIn, they were facing some issues and how they used analytics to solve issues. And it talks about the shortage of data scientists as a serious problem, and they were talking about the skills required. And as I come to know, like mathematics is a main skill required. So yeah, as I was good with mathematics, I thought, why should not I give it a try? And that's how my data science journey started. So it's now been more than 6 years that I'm solving different business problems using different machine learning techniques in telecom industry, retail industry, and BFSI industry. And currently I am working as data science architect at Perfios, where I am working on exciting projects like credit risk assessment, then OCR output improvement, and different computer vision techniques, which helps to automate the banking process. So going is specific to the projects, in credit risk assessment, I work on the problem statements like analyzing only your savings bank statement. I have to give you a score that if I give you a loan, whether you are going to return that loan in future or not. So that decision I have to make based on the bank statement. Then, you know, cash flow is a very important factor that all the lending institutions consider to disburse loan to different SME entity. So there one fraud the SME do to inflate their cash flow is window dressing. Or like if entity is having some sister concern, what they will do, they will form a closed loop and they will do the cash flow within themselves so that their credit and debit will look inflated, and they try to disguise the banks based on these things. So here we use text analytics techniques to identify the window dressing at the transaction level. Likewise, in the OCR, we know like all the OCR solutions are not 100% perfect. So once you process any document through the OCR, say you are getting 80% accuracy only. Some words which should be like NEFT, it will not be NEFT, it will become an FFFT. So we need to correct all these kind of words. So for this, I have developed a OCR post processing solution which helps me to solve this kind of problem. And likewise, there are a number of use cases we are working on at Perfios. Yeah, over to you, Rajesh.
Thanks, Sushil, and thanks, Avinash. So both of them have given their introduction, and one common thing is statistics and mathematics. Both of them are very good, and they have highlighted that. And let's now start off with some Q&A. I'm going to moderate. I'm going to throw some questions to them so that in a guided way, we come to know how we shape up our career into data science. The participants, feel free to write your queries in the chat box. I'll be moderating those queries and then posing it back to Sushil and Avinash. So that's how we will have it. Request you all to keep yourself on mute. Anytime you feel that you have a query, question, you kindly type it in the chat box. And if you have a specific question to Avinash or Sushil, you can mention whom you would like to ask. So agenda for the day is what are the skills that are required to be a successful data scientist? How do we ignite the curiosity towards data science? So as Avinash and Sushil have been sharing their experiences and the kind of projects they have been doing, I'm sure some curiosity would have generated. What is the attitudinal shift we require to get into this field? How do we hone the skills? And how do we make ourselves as proactive versus being a reactive person? And is certificate important in this field? Many people think of getting certificate. So first question, I would like to pose it to Avinash. Avinash, thanks for your sharing your slides in advance. So because I have collated them, I would like you to talk about what are the skills required as a data scientist to be successful. Avinash, over to you.
Okay, thanks, Rajesh. Okay, so skills. When you say skills required to become a successful data scientist, so first I would say analysis skills and number interpreting skills. So what does it mean? So when we are doing real analytics of a company, a business, so size of data is very huge, yeah, and you have to convert all your data into numbers. So that's why this skills is very important. Second one is data management skills. Now, let's say you have a sales data or some finance data having 1 lakh of number of rows and 50 columns. So these are huge data. And I say data management skills. So to convert data into numbers, we require data management skills. You can use tools like SQL Server so that you can analyze your data. You can use even Power BI or Tableau so that you can visualize your data. You can manage your data. Yep. So what do you do with those numbers and data? Your final output is to give some insight to the business so that business can get some profitability. So that's why you required a business knowledge or domain knowledge. So if you don't have business knowledge or domain knowledge, what insight or what statement you will give? As I mentioned earlier, I was given a task that please analyze the weather data and sales data and tell me the which is the best weather condition. So for me at that time, I didn't have any business knowledge. So if you have a business knowledge, I had data. So I had number interpretation skills and data management skills, but I didn't have business knowledge. So I try to improve that part. So that's the important skills. So fourth one is interpersonal skills. So as I mentioned, I had two skills. Yeah, I didn't have business knowledge. So same applicable for all of us. We all are not perfect. Some of the skills is missing in one of us. So there is a team in a company or in a department. So we have to rely for particular skills on particular person. Let's say if I'm not good at business knowledge, so I have to rely on someone that, hey, can you help me? What this business problem is. So that's why this interpersonal skill is also important. So when you say you must ask that which is the most important skills. So I would say the first one, interpreting the numbers. This is the most important skills in analytics journey. So once you start this journey, you will find everywhere importance of the numbers. Just can you shift to next slide?
Yeah. Yeah, I have moved. And Avinash, would you also like to highlight the forecasting problem of purchasing tons of chemicals that you did?
Yeah, sure.
Avinash, the forecasting problem statement that you solved, that you can procure huge tons because of your number skills that you developed and domain knowledge that you eventually developed.
Yeah, sure. So just continuing that part.
You can be brief if you don't want to, because of yeah. If you want to just if there's some intellectual property, so you can be very brief and restrict yourself.
Okay. Okay, just continuing the story, which we started. Yeah. So we started to analyze the weather data and started working with procurement team. We got the raw material price throughout the year, what raw material was required to prepare that finished good, which was built in Australia. We saw at particular time when it was raining season in Australia. At that time, some raw material price got increased, and this happened for last 5 years because we had last 5 years data only. Yeah. And also we saw the raw material which are used for the finished goods, the end product, the demand was also increased at the same time. So me with regional head had a meeting, and I just proposed this one thing. I just show this in a graph in Power BI that this is the raw material price, and particular at this time, this is the weather condition, and it's increasing by 12%, sometime by 11% or 9%. But for us, it was a huge amount because our end product, which we are building, it's in tons of liters that we are supplying from Australia to all over the world. So when they ask for the price of the raw material, from the procurement team, and when we converted this percentage into actual numbers, so number came around 8 million CHF. This was the difference. Yeah, but of course we cannot buy in a bulk to save this number, because then we cannot run the company. There's a concept called net working capital to run the company, NWC. So we have to maintain everything. What we did is we try to ask our customer that can we have some prepayment, advance payment from you, so that we can assure our service to you. And also we try to negotiate with the vendors. I was not involved in those all parts. I just gave the suggestion and all. That's it. My part was completed. But I'm telling you the entire story. Then the negotiation was done with the vendors, that we will order you this quantity. Can we have this price? And how this is how this problem solved. We couldn't save entire amount, but as compared to last year and the previous year, the profit margin for particular debt products got increased by 7.5%, which was also a good amount. So when I say number interpretation skill is very important. So rightly mentioned here, if you don't know the business, data can teach you. So let's say taking example of any company. Now, if it's a public listed company, you can go to internet, download the profit loss statement and everything. You will get a financial book on the internet. So if you are from finance background or commerce background, you can easily interpret that is this a profitable company? Is this a average going company? Yeah. Looking at the numbers, looking at the data. The second line, if you don't know, understand the numbers, data won't help you. Now, if you downloaded the this profit loss statement of any company, but you don't know what that particular line item means, because in P&L there are many line items, some depreciation amount, SG&A, some costs. So you should understand that do we need to deduct it or add it. So if you don't know numbers, data won't help you. So that's why number interpretation skills is the most important, as per my personal view. Over to you, Rajesh.
Thanks, Avinash. Fantastic. So now I'll just move on to Sushil. Sushil, I just want to know, because you made a career switch from boiler, and that's why I'm posing this query to you. How did you go about building your skill set? And kindly share more detail about the curiosity and the learning path that you had.
Sure, Rajesh. So every new learning process goes through different stages, which you can see in your screen. So if you have noticed closely, all the learning starts with curiosity. You get one term like data scientist, data science, and you become curious about this term, and you go and you talk to your friends, what is this data scientist, what this data scientist do, why this profession is in so much demand, what are the skills required. You talk to your friends about this, you talk to someone who is already working in this field, you get some idea, you get convinced to some extent, then you go back to internet, you do some research. This is the starting stage, how you start learning about any process, be it data science or be it a topic from any other field. First you do requirement gathering of that field, and you try to see whether I am fitting into this role or not. Like if you see the data science closely, the whatever skills what Avinash has told, right? Main skills are you have to go good with math and statistics. You need some computing skill, and you need the domain knowledge, and yeah, data management skill also required. So once you know all these skill, you have to gauge yourself where you are standing in all these skills. And there are some very critical skills without which you cannot do anything in that field. Like I feel in this field, statistics and math, I will not call pure math, but logical, I will call it logical math, logical thinking. Your understanding of permutation and combination, your understanding of probability, these things are very critical. If you struggle all the time at these concepts, then you have to make a call, okay, whether this field is good for me or not. Or likewise, I will take another example like computing skill. As in my case, I was not having that skill, and last time before joining this field, I write some kind of code was in my first semester of BTech. Because my stream was electronics and instrumentation, I was not required to read any of the programming languages. But when I made this decision, I have to make a transition in this field. And when I come to know, okay, in future, I will need to develop this skill, then I was not very much scared because of two reasons. First, I already had some exposure with programming, and I did not find it to be a very difficult subject in my first semester of my BTech. And second was, I had never given it a serious try. So without trying anything, I cannot say, okay, I have not done this before, so I am not going to do this. So this was my rationale behind doing all the requirement gathering and measuring or gauging myself on all the parameters. And once I convinced myself, okay, this field is for me, there is nothing which can stop me, then your second stage will start. You have to start learning. You have to start learning different topics from this field. So in my opinion, best way to start initially with, if you have some book, then start studying the book or try to cover the topics. But again, in data science, I feel a challenge that no book is perfect. Some book will focus only on computing, some book will focus only on statistics. So you don't have to be a master of statistics to be a very successful data scientist. This disclaimer I want to make right now, because many people get afraid, okay, this statistics, how I will know? You don't need to know the advanced concepts of probability. But you need a logical approach to problem solving. If you have that thing, then you are good to go, in my opinion. Then I started studying different books, different articles. Then I started studying statistics. I applied those concepts in Excel. Then at that, when I started with SAS. So right now, as you see in the market, this R and Python are the mostly commonly used language for data science. That time, R was just picking up in 2013, and SAS was a market leader. So somehow I got a license and I started coding in SAS. Whatever I used to learn, I learned in statistics. I was going back and I was trying to implement using that programming language, and I wanted to see, okay, how the output will come, then how I can make sense of that number. This is your learning process you have to go through. But again, when you start learning, you will find yourself having lot of distraction in terms of mobile. You have mobile, you will get WhatsApp messages, you try to focus on something which is new and which is complicated, and that time you will get all these things, so people will get distracted. This is a natural phenomena, so it is very, very difficult to avoid unless you are very self disciplined. So for that, I feel you need to have a good mentor who can guide you in all this respect. And I will also advise you to avoid Googling everything or going to internet, and suppose you started with regression problem. So for every small thing, don't go to internet, because every new page will give you one new perspective of the problem and you will get confused. So when you are starting, try to go in one direction. When you have gained some knowledge, then you can go back, and whatever major doubts you had, you can go back and you can see the perspective of different people from the internet. At that point of time, it will be useful. But if initially you start taking everybody's perspective, then rather than getting knowledge, I feel you will start getting more confused, and this subject will start becoming more difficult and difficult. Yeah. So once you learn something and you gain new knowledge, then next challenge is you have to retain the knowledge, because we know very well it is very difficult to retain everything we learn for the first time, right? There are different research also saying that if you see something, you can retain 10% of that after 2 days. If you see and hear something, you can retain 25 to 30% of that thing. And if you see something, you hear something, and you practice that thing, then you can retain kind of 80% of that thing. So you need to follow the third strategy, that you read, then you try to practice. You get into the act of problem solving using whatever you have learned. So unless you do that, only reading is not going to help you. And I will also suggest, don't try to go very fast. Like today I have completed one topic, okay, I know linear regression. Tomorrow again, next topic, logistic regression is complete. Now third day I have completed decision tree. This kind of approach is not going to help you. When you are starting a topic, do justice to that topic and give some time. Oh, because you know, this applies to cooking also. So yeah, I like cooking, so I can give you this example. Any food, if you cook it slowly, it will give more taste while you will eat it. If you try to make any food in 5 minutes or 2 minutes, then either it will get burnt or taste will be very, very bad, right? So same applies to your data science journey also. You have to start with one topic, you have to give ample time to that topic, you have to practice, and once you are in this stage, you have retained the knowledge, then reproduce the knowledge by applying your knowledge to real-time problem solving. So while you are trying to learn how you can get the real-time problems, so for that you can go to Kaggle, and you can go to Kaggle, you can go to Analytics with those kind of sites where they have lot of real-time problem, and you get the data set You get the problem statement, you go and try to solve that problem. You see what percentage of your learning you are able to apply in those real-time problems, what are the challenges faced. Then again go back, like it will be a kind of closed loop. You try to apply those learnings, and the places where you are failing to apply, again you have to go back and learn, and again you come back and reproduce. So this is the strategy you need to apply, in my opinion.
Fantastic, Sushil. So basically what Sushil is highlighting is a 4-step process. First is curiosity. You have to generate ample amount of curiosity about the subject. Only when you generate that curiosity, you will have the need to learn. You will feel learning about that topic. And that's when you should get into the learning mode. Having learned it, you need to practice. Practice makes a man perfect, and practice will help you retain what you have learned. And finally, you have to do reproducing what you have learned. And this is where what Sushil is saying is that when you are learning, you will not get some real life kind of data sets. For example, at our institute in K2 Analytics, when we teach, we understand the person, the candidate will learn, but how do he or she reproduce? And that's where we give some capstone projects. We have a number of capstone projects where we give data sets for the candidate to apply what is being learned. So basically that's a journey, how you ignite and make yourself move up the curve in data science. And so this is regarding what is the attitudinal shift which is required, and how important is the attitude in the data science journey. Avinash Pathak, I would like you to answer. And do we face failures also when we are making this move? Avinash, over to you. How important is the attitude and perseverance? Avinash, are you there? Avinash, can you disconnect and connect again? We are not able to hear you. In the meantime, Sushil, would you like to go ahead and answer this?
Yes, sure, Rajesh. So different kind of shift you need to do in order to be successful in this field. So most important, in my opinion, is critical thinking. You have to be a critic of all the things coming to you. Every time you have to ask the question, why this is happening, what is happening inside, how you can make it better. Because at the end of the day, whatever you will learn here, you will going to apply this in the real-time projects. And most of the projects are those kind of projects for which solutions are not available till date. So you need to ask different types of questions. Okay, what, why, and how to anything.
Okay. Avinash, I think so you have joined in because, yeah, carry on, Sushil.
Yeah. Then
carry on, Sushil, carry on.
Yeah. Then perseverance is the another critical shift, in my opinion, because most of the time when you start in this journey, you will feel like you are not able to make it, you are not able to understand a particular topic, and you feel like this field is not for me. So you need to develop a mindset of never let it go and try again, try again. Then only you will be able to successful in this field. I will give
Yeah,
you
I know.
one
And some
example.
of the projects, sorry to cut you, sorry to cut you. I know you have been doing some projects where you are working on the same projects on image processing and optical character recognition, those kind of projects. And at times it has taken you some 4-6 months to develop the final solution. And this is where I think when you say perseverance, it becomes very critical.
Yeah, right, Rajesh. So I'll give you one example. Right now, I'm trying to develop my own OCR. So first day when I started this project, I was clueless from where to start, how to start. Then after 1 week, my confidence went up and I felt like, okay, now I can solve this problem. I took a subset of problem, means if you are not able to solve the whole problem at one shot, try to solve subset of problem. In my case, I have taken only 2 alphabet characters, A and B. And in that case, I tried to solve, okay, OCR is a distant goal. In the meanwhile, can I make something which will identify character A and character B in any document? Then I started with that approach. And after some hit and trial thing and after some iterations, I was able to achieve this. So when you are able to come to this stage, so it will lift your confidence and you will get the motivation, positive mindset to go and solve this problem and yeah, make the difference in whatever you are doing. And taking ownership, as all of you know, it is not only critical only in data science. In any work you are doing, if you don't take ownership, you will not be successful in that field. So one example I will give you, like all the working professionals who are there. So in the organizations, you have different teams working on the same project. So there are 2 types of people in all the organizations. So first type of people think they are always right, and whatever problem is happening in a project is happening because of people in the other team. They don't take ownership for anything, and for that reason, those projects go for a toss. And there are other kind of people who take the ownership of the project, and although they know, okay, this mistake is done from team members of some other team, still they will take the ownership of that mistake and they will try to rectify that problem and they will try to roll out the product as soon as possible. And continuous learning, for this I can say only that thing, like even after 11 years of experience and more than 6 years of experience in data science, I daily spend 1 to 2 hours learning different topics of data science. So the day you stop learning uh, is the day you stop growing in this field. Thank you. Over to you, Rajesh.
Thanks, Sushil. Avinash, because you disconnected, I had to pass this question to Sushil. But one answer which I would like you to add to what Sushil has said. Before that, one important facet that I understood, character recognition. And Sushil, despite having extensive experience, he broke the problem and saying that I'll solve only A and B. Out of 26 English characters, he is trying to solve only A and B. That is, he's trying to solve only 10% of the problem. So quite often, you may feel that the task given to you is a very daunting task. Break it into smaller modules and then see whether you can solve that smaller problem statement, and then you can replicate it and solve it. So Avinash, would you like to add on attitudinal shift required to get into data science and make a career shift?
Yeah, sure, Rajesh. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. And participants, if you have queries, you can keep typing on the chat box. We'll raise those queries to the two speakers at the end.
Okay, so I would like to focus on the first point, positive mindset. So I remember when our training program was about to complete and middle of the part, I started giving interview on some of the companies for data analytics post and data scientist post. Also, you also recommended me for a couple of companies. So what I observe is uh, I got failure for 4 times, I guess, and the reason was sometimes relevant experience was missing. Sometimes previous domain knowledge was not the same what they were expecting. Sometimes salary was a part. That's it. So at the time, I didn't stop myself solving the problems as Sushil mentioned. So I pick up few of problems and that was my continuous journey. Same time I was giving interview and I was working with my current organization as well. After some time, couple of months, when I was handling a critical project, I actually got the opportunity in some other organization. But the problem which I was handling was so interesting that I couldn't leave my job. And as Rajesh also mentioned, so when you pick some critical problems, some specific problems, you will find yourself that it's very interesting and you will not able to leave that until you solve it. The same happened with me as well. So as Sushil also mentioned, continuous learning is very important. I would I'm also agree with that. You have to learn yourself because content might be it will outdated after sometimes 6 months or 8 months or 1 year. That you cannot apply the same technique or same method of code, like set example, in your real life project. So you have to keep upgrading yourself. So if you are learning, if you are connected with the system every day, because as a part of data science job, you will not get a daily problem to solve. If you solve couple of problems, then they possible that they don't have any problem right now. So you have to keep yourself engaged by learning yourself.
I'll just add to what
And the important thing
Avinash and Sushil has.
is,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Avinash, go ahead.
yeah, another important topic is ownership. So when we started solving some problem, let's say if I started, which I am doing right now, this COVID-19 situation is going on. So our company decided to maintain the financial uh, situation. So they decided to build a COVID-19 dashboard. So they have given a dashboard name as COVID-19. That dashboard will give a very high level of overview that what you sold in these days, what amount is going to come, that is receivable part, and what you have to pay, that is your payable. and it's very high level of dashboard. So by doing these three analysis and this I'm handling, I have to predict what will be my cash flow, what will be my NWC percentage. So this is the importance of ownership. Over to you, Rajesh.
Thanks, Avinash. I completely agree with Avinash and Sushil. And very important, the last point both of them has mentioned is the continuous learning. I feel despite I personally have 20 years of experience and I'm a veteran in this field. I started analytics way back in 2003. Since 2003 is where I'm been in analytics. I worked with many banks, NBFCs, and probably have solved more than 100 plus predictive modeling data science problem statements. But still, I feel that there's a need for me to also continuously learn and upskill. Okay. And this is also important because I am also a trainer. For last 5 years, I've been doing training in data science. So I keep myself abreast of what is the latest happening. That is also an important reason I have to do continuous learning. Before we move forward, Avinash and Sushil, there's a question with one of our participants. The question is, the participant says that he's a computer science student. He has concepts and topics like statistics, hypothesis testing in his third year. Now he is in his final year where he will have data science as a subject. So do freshers have a chance to get in data science, machine learning, or do we have to work in some other domain and then with that experience get into data science? So what I understand is he's saying that I know statistics, I know mathematics, hypothesis testing, and data science he's going to learn in the final year. With this knowledge, because there is an importance of domain, business domain, which both of you have highlighted, can I get into data science job straight away, or should I work in some domain, some business field first, and then get into data science? So Sushil and
Rajesh,
Avinash, can you share
yeah,
your
I'll
experiences here? Yeah, Sushil, go ahead.
I will share my experience. Right now I see a lot of companies hiring freshers in this field because more and more colleges have started incorporating data science as a subject in their syllabus. Because in our times, data science or analytics as a subject was not there at all at the curriculum. But as institutes and colleges have started, so again coming to your question, Himanshu, it is good you have some basic knowledge of statistics, hypothesis testing, and in the fourth year you are going to learn more about this field. But I will suggest you, see, there are two things. Domain knowledge you cannot get in college unless you work in a field or you work in a domain. It comes with time. It will not come overnight, or it will not come in 1 week of time. Like if somebody tells you can get domain knowledge, it is not possible in overnight. Like I am working in this field for last 2 years, so I can right now also I say I have maybe 30 or 40% of the domain knowledge only. I also need to complete that journey of 60%. But yeah, you focus on your statistics part, you focus on algorithm part, and more important, you focus on problem solving. You try to figure out how you can apply your learnings in the statistics or in the algorithms to some kind of problem solving. And To get into this stage, I will suggest you can, if your college is only focusing on the theoretical part, you can go and take some training from some good institutes. Most of the institutes have this 6-month training which they give, and this K2 Analytics course is really good. And I will tell you one thing which Rajesh has not told you till now. Like, I have not done a course in K2 Analytics, but my first job in analytics, and my manager was Rajesh. So I have done this on-job training under him, and his way of teaching you the real-world problems is unique. I have not seen anybody focusing so much on the problem solving of real-world problem using analytics more than Rajesh. Most of the institutes you go, they will start with R programming, Python programming. Most of the institutes don't even teach you algorithms. For logistic regression, they will tell you, okay, this is the function. Logistic regression is the function. You have to pass some parameters. It will give you output. But how to interpret the output, what to do with that output, they will not teach you. So I will not suggest you to go to that kind of training institutes. Yeah, in my opinion, you can go to good training institute like K2 Analytics, and it will help you to directly land your dream job in the field of data science. Yes, Rajesh.
Thanks, Sushil. Thanks for this. Okay, let's move on. I think so. We have covered this at depth now. Statistics, programming, algorithm. We already mentioned about the algorithms. So how to hone the skills. Statistics and programming are essential. Along with that, you already mentioned algorithm has to be learned, and then you have to visualize and solve the problems. So I think I'll skip this question. How to hone. I would like both of you to stress on being reactive versus proactive, because what happens is quite often I get inquiries. I am a training institute, as you mentioned, K2 Analytics. We are a training institute, and we come across people saying, okay, uh, I would like to join it if you give me a job first. Now the statement is, you give me a job first and then I'll take the course. But I think so the world is the contrary. World says you build skills and then get job. So can you both highlight what's your opinion? And Avinash, specifically you, because you took our course. I think so you took our course without expectation of job, and still we got you 4 interviews. That's a testimony of your dedication.
Yeah, thanks, Rajesh. So you correctly mentioned there are two type of people. So one, they are looking for only job, and one, they are looking for to upgrade the skills. So in my case, my job and career was going good when I joined, before I joined the course. So in fact, I didn't even need to join the course. The reason behind I joined the course just to upgrade my skills, as I am involved in day out with data, different type of data. So just to go more deeper, how I can more contribute myself towards the company, and how I can upgrade myself. That's why I joined the course in 2019 February. Yeah. So so if you are joining a course like with this perspective to upgrade your skills, so definitely if you are master in something, you will definitely get the job. That's not an uh, issue, I guess, because right now I'm also getting some offers from other companies as well. So just focus on how we can upgrade yourself, how you can get these skills.
So I'm sure,
I'm
Avinash,
not
you're getting
saying
these.
uh, you can even learn with some online institute as well. But what I will suggest is you need, as Rajesh, as Sushil mentioned, you need a mentor who will who needs to push you every time. That help. So I would suggest go with some good institute, and for sure you have to inquire a couple of institute. You have to take a demo session if you. It's a good part. Then only you have to choose. Yeah, that's it, Rajesh.
Sushil, you want to add anything?
Yeah, so I want to add something like learning and earning are two words which are very similar, right? So why everybody is planning to take up this data science course? The ultimate target is they want to earn, right? This is the fact. You cannot shy away from the fact. The main motive is finally to earn something. But you should make this earning as the target. And to achieve the target, you have to do the learning part. So this is the proactive approach. You cannot expect somebody will start paying you up front and they will let you learn after that. So you cannot expect this at all. In some cases, scenarios, it is possible also. I'll give you one case from my example. Because when I was in Edgeworth is a Infosys company. So when I joined Edgeworth, in all the organizations, you have this internal job posting. So we were starting up a new team there, and we had this internal job posting. So some people joined from different team to our team. They told, okay, we don't know analytics, but we want to learn analytics. But first, I want to join your team. I don't know anything about. At that time, we were having no options, so we also agreed. But the outcome was very sad, I will say. We had to spend good amount of time because all the time you cannot go and mentor those guys if you are working on job, right? And with companies at the scale of Infosys, different people are at different geography. So what, this is the human mentality. Once you achieve your target, you stop investing your time in that field. So there were people, but they never bothered to learn these skills from analytics so that they can be successful in this field. And what was the outcome? After 6 months, we asked them to move to their old teams, and it was 6 months lost both for those people and for us.
Fantastic,
So
Sushil.
always,
And
yeah,
you already mentioned one important point. Earning is in learning. If you type the word learning, you see earn word is in there. Yeah, go ahead, Sushil.
yes, and that's it, Rajesh. Yeah, you can continue.
Uh, so, Avinash, this question is for you. Knowledge versus certificate. Though you already have a certification of completion from K2 Analytics, but still, I would like to know: is certificate more important or knowledge more important? Well, many people keep saying, "Okay, will you give certificate?"
Okay, so first of all, right now I am not keeping this look of specific. I was planning a bike trip at that time, so we went for a, Statue of Unity by bike on that day, and that day this photo was captured. So I'm not keeping beard and this look anymore. Okay, coming back to the question. Mm, certificate. So I remember exactly 17th of March this year, I got this certificate.
Sorry, participants, we've lost Avinash. He's texted a message. There has been a power failure at his end. Because of that, he's trying to join through mobile. In case he's able to join through mobile, then
Can you hear me?
yeah, Avinash is joined in. Avinash, continue. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So it was a
Yeah, go ahead,
weekend
Avinash.
at that time. Yeah, it was a weekend at that time, and suddenly I called Rajesh that oh, a simple thing that how's going on, everything. So he asked me what about your project? Suddenly I came off my mind that I didn't get certificate yet, and I asked that I completed real life project. Would you like to see? So he said yes. Let's see tomorrow. So on Sunday, I called him from there, and we had a big session around 1.5 hours. I showed the entire project what I did. So in Capstone, there was only one predictive variable, but in my project, there are around 12 predictive variables. Entire balance sheet I predicted. So I explained him that this is the way how I completed my project. And that day, after my demo, I got the certificate. So as I mentioned, uh, it was really out of my mind that I didn't get a certificate yet. So more than a certificate, you already got a good knowledge, which is most important in your life and in your career. And it worked for me. I got knowledge, I implemented in my current organization. I got recognition, other benefits as well. So if you ask me this question, I would say knowledge is most important than certificate. If you have knowledge, certificate will automatically come and job will also automatically come. Over to you, Rajesh.
Uh, I will
Thanks,
like to add one.
Avinash. Thanks for that.
Rajesh, I
Yeah.
will like to add one more point here. Like this certificate thing, nowadays I am involved in taking lot of interview for data science position in my organizations. So I see a lot of application from so-called good institutes like INSOFE, UpGrad. We get a lot of application. But after assessing those candidates, like most of the candidates I found, they don't know the basics also. They go with the buzzword. What I feel, most of those organizations, those institutes, what they do, they try to teach them the buzzwords like neural networks. They don't know how to, means what is the difference between mean, median, mode also in some cases. Candidates were like that, they don't know the difference between mean, median, mode, and they started talking about neural networks. Neural networks also, if you go one step ahead and you ask some question, they will tell you, okay, this institute did not teach me this, but yeah, I have this certificate in data science. So we have stopped hiring for certificate. We only go by knowledge. Over to you, Rajesh.
Yeah, I completely agree. Here, I would like to share my experience. I'm sharing this experience from year 2011 types. And at that point of time, we had candidates where from very reputed companies whose software were being used for data analytics, and the candidates used to come with certificate. And what we realized is most of the candidates would get the certificate by reading brain dumps. I'm sure many of you know what is brain dumps. Brain dumps are basically on internet. There are people who already post what are the questions which are asked to get the certificate. So MCQ, multiple choice questions are there. You go to a particular institute, you read yourself, or you go through a formal training course. Even without knowledge, you can get the certificate because you have read some 200, 500 questions, some multiple choice questions with right answers. You just go to the exam, press the options, you get a passing certificate. And we realized that candidates coming with those certificate actually do not qualify getting a job, because people who are actually more bothered of certificate get the certificate through brain dumps. But people who are bothered about knowledge, they go through rigorous training, practice, retention, and application of those knowledge. So from that standpoint, I completely agree that people go for knowledge, and who tries to get knowledge will get a job easily as compared to showing, okay, I've got a certificate. Okay. Now we come just very close to
Rajesh,
our closure. We are already at 5:16. Yeah, Avinash, go ahead.
yeah, I would like to add here something. I remember in our batch, Feb 2019, there are 15 or 16 students were there, and only
Yeah.
hardly one or two, including me, got the certification. So one thing I would
Yes.
like to thank you that I don't know in other institute how they are giving the certification, but especially in your institute, K2 Analytics, we have to earn it. We are not getting after completing the course, because out of 16, only one or two are getting this certificate. So that's why, and you feel really proud that you earned it. You are not, you didn't get it.
Yeah. Yeah. So a very nice point. Thanks for making mention of this. Participants who are coming here, I'm very, very clear about my course which I offer, and the way I evaluate the candidates and whom we support. We go out of our way to help. For example, Avinash was one of the candidates whom I connected with 4 of my people in my knowledge for job. Okay. So if you are really interested in knowledge, we do impart that knowledge, and we make you slog to earn your certificate. We don't give you certificate. You earn it, you don't get it. Okay, that's a difference. And as part of our training, after every training, we conduct test. So ensure that you get the knowledge. Now, finally, I would like to wrap up the session with some pointers. And here I'll quickly go. And Sushil and Avinash, if you want to add. In my 20 years of experience, this is where now I just share my experience. In my 20 years of experience, I have seen people inquiring, wanting to get into data science, but just holding themselves back. And some of the reasons why they are holding themselves back is the first question: will I get a job? My answer to the participants is flip the question. If you develop the skill, you will get the job, but you do not get a job without the skill. So your first question is, how do I develop the skill? Second is course fee. It's expensive, not expensive, and other things. If you feel it's expensive, if you're inquiring to some institute for course, and if you feel it's expensive, then there are simple solutions. Free online courses are also there. But yeah, what happens is when you go for free online courses, you always have to invest something. Either you invest time or you invest money. You have to decide whether time is more precious or money is more precious. age, people at any age, if they have the confidence to learn, they can make it, they can switch a career. But most important thing is your confidence and the time. You need to invest your time. We are not looking for investing of money, we are looking for investment of time. Time is the most precious thing that we all have. And you can have many other queries, reasons for not doing and holding yourself back. That institute is far, I cannot travel that much. Today everything is happening online because of the COVID thing. Remove confusion and skepticism from your mind. People will keep getting referrals. People come to institute with referrals, with good reviews about institute, and then still don't join because they are still skeptical about. And the most important thing is perseverance, self-discipline, attitude. These are skills that you need to hone, develop to move into data science or into any other career of your choice. If you feel that I'm not specific to data science, but because the session is on data science, that's why we are using the word data science. But in life, if you really wish to make a career in any field, you need to have a perseverance, you need to have a self-discipline, and you need to have a mentor. Please always understand, in real life, we need a coach, we need a mentor who can guide us, and you need to have a positive attitude. Avinash, Sushil, we have got 9 minutes left. Anything that you would like to add on this slide?
Yes, Rajesh. So for the second point, money. So I would like to add, if some candidates are there for whom money is a constraint, for them also I would like to advise, don't go and enroll in any online courses, because once you do one course, it will take your time and that time will never come back. So do the initial research, invest a little time in doing the research about the content of the course, about the quality of the course, and then make some decision which course you want to take. And don't blindly go for all the courses for free, because when you go for all the courses, flow of all the courses will be different, quality of all the courses will be different. One instructor will teach you one thing, other instructor will teach you another thing. Same thing they will teach in two different ways, so this confusion will grow up in your mind. So do the proper research and choose the best which is available in the market if you have the money constraint. And if you don't have the money constraint, and if you are really looking into getting into data science, then I will recommend K2 Analytics course from my side based on my experience of working with Rajesh. This is the first point. And about age also, I would like to mention something. I have seen people with more than 20 years of experience in sales, and they have made a successful transition in this data science field. So somebody who is 50 plus, and if they can make a transition to data science, then I think everybody who is attending this can make a transition without any issue. You just need the self motivation and self discipline to accomplish this. Yeah, over to you, Rajesh.
Thanks, Sushil. Avinash, any point you would like to add? And then I will have one question which is posted by one of the participants, Kannad Gaikwad. But before that, Avinash, anything you would like to add? I think we have lost Avinash. There's a question from participant Sushil. What does a programming language play? What role does a programming language play in data science? knowing basics of Java, Python, and data science, what is the best approach in terms of language should one take?
Oh,
So
yes,
basically, he's
Rajesh.
asking, the person is asking the role of programming language in data science.
Yes, Rajesh. So, in my opinion, programming language is only a tool which will help you to solve the business problem. Programming language is not the problem solving. One of the most misunderstood concept I see among students, they say, okay, I have studied R, I know data science. Some students say, I studied Python, I know data science, which is absolutely wrong. Skills in programming language you can develop over 1 week of time also. Because I have learned R in 1 week. I have learned Python in 1 week, which is required to solve the problem in data science. Your more focus should be on algorithms, then domain knowledge, problem solving. Treat programming language only as a tool which will help you to solve the problem, no more than that. Don't give overemphasis on the programming language, in my opinion. Over to you, Rajesh.
Yeah, Kannad, I would like to add to what Sushil has said. And based on my experience, 20 years of experience is what I have. In India, we have 50 lakh software professional. And of that 50 lakh, I can say there are 15 lakh very good software professionals who have got good programming knowledge on C, C++, Java, and many other programming language. If data science would have been only programming, then we should not have any dearth of data science resources. But we still say there is a huge opportunity in data science, but we don't get skilled resources. If programming was data science, then all software engineers, programmers should have already taken up this data science job. So what Sushil is saying, programming is not very essential. It's just a means to an end. It is one of the things that you will have to learn. But the important is the number interpretation and the domain. So I hope this clarifies your query, Kannad. Anyone else? Any other question? If anyone has a question, you can type in the chat box. Yeah. How do you find a mentor? And how do you start a journey in data science? So let me address these two. How do you find start your journey in data science? Basically, you can start your journey from the three important skills. One is mathematics skills, domain knowledge, or programming, data management. If you feel you are a good programmer, you enter into data science from a programming angle, start with programming, and then get into numbers and domain. If you feel you are good at programming, if you feel you are good at statistics and maths, then start trying to solve those statistical problems using programming coding and use your statistical knowledge to solve domain. And if you are a domain guy, apply your domain skills for interpreting and solving using the numbers and programming. So the entry point is depends on your forte. Whatever is your forte, there are three ways you can get into data science, either from domain side, or you can get into it from programming side, or you get into it from statistics or math side. But remember, whichever perspective you take, the other two perspective you will have to develop. How do you find a mentor? Uh, see, you will not be able to get a mentor if you are a college student easily, so you will have to connect on LinkedIn. But the point is, why would any working professional dedicate time to you as a mentor? So you will have to find either mentor within your institute, or you will have to find a mentor by joining a training institute as a course. See, I would be doing some of these free webinars, but I would not become a mentor on a day-to-day basis for any individual participant. I hope you completely agree to this point, because there would be some financial constraint at my end to devote my time for mentoring, right? So typically you will find a mentor by joining a training institute, or if you are a working professional, then you can easily get a mentor, because in the organization you will have certain people who will have the skill and they will become a mentor, right? While I wait for other queries, this is just one slider on K2 Analytics. What we do, we are a bunch of professionals who are skilled in machine learning and artificial intelligence. We work with our clients and consultants. We take up consulting projects. Cumulative, we would have built a good number of predictive models. Okay. And one of the key element that we do is training. We do extensive amount of training in data science and machine learning. That's our key offering, and that's what is more about us. You can visit our website k2analytics.in or k2analytics.co.in. K2analytics.in is what we are creating afresh, where we are putting lots of blogs and our training content, so you can check our blogs on k2analytics.in. is the link which I'm sending on the chat box. We wait one more minute for participants to raise the queries. We're already at 5:32. In the meantime, let me give a vote of thanks to Avinash and Sushil. Thanks Avinash and Sushil for taking your time out and sharing your wisdom, your knowledge, and your data science journey. I'm sure many of the participants would have liked it, loved it to hear from you, and they would have got a perspective on how they can build their career in data science.